Thursday to you at 7:30 here, April 18th, 2024. Welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett. I'm your host, Bridgett Ellison. Good to be with you. It's going to be very, very hot today. And unfortunately, today is field day for my daughter. So I'm just trying to make sure that she is very hydrated and has some protein to head out today. Meteorologist Candace Campos has been talking about how, this week is heating up. So Candace, today is field day for Elise.
Ugh.
So, I want to make sure she's really hydrated. And that's the good advice for everyone, to try to dress cool, find some shade.
Prepare yourself. The same mentality that we have during the summer, we should start kind of shifting that mentality already this time of the year. You know what? Honestly, at least it's not raining and stormy. At
Right.
least it's not the 94, 93 we're expecting this weekend. So,
Oof.
it would be lovely if it was like 70 and sunny for her field day. But you know what? These kids, they don't care about
They're
if it's hot
resilient.
or cold. They really are. They really are. But
Yes.
oh, she's gonna have such a good time. Is she on a certain
Yes.
color team? Is there like
So they
team?
wear their school shirts. So, every grade has their own color shirt, but, they do everything, from the three-legged races to the
So much
parachute
fun.
to, the egg race,
Yes.
whatever, anything. This year, though, they're not going to get fully soaked because changing clothes and all that can be a little bit
What a
much with
pain.
so many kids needing to change at one time. But it's one of the fun days of the year, right? It's one of those days you look
Yes.
forward to in grade school. So,
They wake up super excited because they know it's field day. My
yes.
favorite field day activity was the big ball that you had to roll across
Oh,
because you
yes.
could always watch some of the kids who misstep and they go over the ball. You remember those?
Oh my
Oh, those
goodness.
were good. Those were
Oh,
good.
the egg,
Well,
the egg
listen.
race.
Oh, the egg race. Don't drop the egg. Oh, so
The
good.
potato
Well, you know what?
sack.
The
Okay, go
the
ahead.
wet the weather's gonna be perfect for it, Bridget.
Great.
She's gonna come back though stinky. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you that
Oh.
because, like I said earlier in the show, I said it's a perfect day to be poolside, beachside, maybe
Mm-hmm.
boating, but it's not an ideal day for those who need to buckle their kids into their car seats.
Okay.
Like where you're just like, why is it so hot? You know. So that's
Already.
that's that kind of weather forecast for you. So buckle up,
All
everybody,
right.
literally. All right, let's talk about your weather forecast. Out the door, temperatures are going to start the 90-degree trend this afternoon. By about lunchtime, we'll be in the upper 80s already, nearing 90 for your highs. The one spot today that could be breaking records, you guys in Leesburg, in and around Lake County. Then as we head into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, temperatures will just continue to climb. We're going to be back into the mid 90s come Saturday and Sunday. A few more records could be broken or at least tied by Saturday. And then let's talk about a little bit of relief, just a teeny bit, as temperatures will finally get out of the 90s back into the 80s with some scattered showers in place. So as we take you here throughout the next few hours, like I said, by lunchtime, already surpassing that average high of 83. So you can see we're still staying dry. A little bit of cloud cover this morning, Bridget, but most of that will kind of clear out over the next few hours. So limited clouds, limited rain, meaning no relief from the heat. Nothing to stop those temperatures from climbing today, which is why I-4 towards 75 will be staying at about 90 degrees today. But along in the 95 corridor there throughout Palm Coast, down through Melbourne, temperatures will be in the mid to low 80s. So that ocean breeze always kind of cuts those temperatures pretty quickly during the afternoon, keeping you guys a little cooler than your friends further inland. But area-wide, the temperatures will keep climbing. Saturday, our high will be about 94, which easily will be the hottest day of the year. If we get 91, it will be the hottest day of the year. We've only hit 90 degrees once, but the last time we've seen temperatures like this in the forecast was mid-September, more than 200 days ago. So that's why we always try to stress that although, here in Central Florida, we're used to those temperatures in the 90s, we just haven't had them in so long that we really need to kind of train our bodies again to deal with that heat. And then come Saturday, temperatures are going to get hot. We're going to be back into the mid 90s throughout Orlando and Sanford. We'll get close in a couple of spots. Leesburg could have another day close to those records. But we are going to continue to watch that big ridge over the Western Atlantic. That's going to kind of flatten out and weaken, and it will finally give the opportunity for a front to come through Central Florida by Monday morning. As of now, rain chances sit about 30 to about 50%. So we're going to keep that median 40% chance for rain on Monday. We can't rule out the chance of an isolated thunderstorm, but this is not going to be a rocking event as that front comes through. But at least it will shift our winds a bit, bring temperatures back, still above average, B. I mean, we're still
Mm-hmm.
talking upper 80s, but at least we won't be dealing with those 90s just in time for Earth Day. So prepare
Very
yourself.
nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. We need some of that rain.
We really do. We really do. And we always talk about, making sure you optimize your watering and things like that. So making sure you have your watering
Mm-hmm.
days and making sure that if you're going to be running the sprinklers, do it between like 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. because you do it any earlier, the water sits too much in the grass and,
Right. Can cause rot. Mm-hmm.
exactly. But if you get it closer to that sunrise, it's ready to absorb. It absorbs it versus when your sprinklers are going off at like, I don't know, 1, 2
Right.
o'clock in the afternoon. You're losing like
It's
up to
evaporating.
65. Yeah, yeah.
It's a
Congratulations, you're
science.
watering the planet, not the ground, the
Right,
air.
right, right. It's a science to everything, which we'll talk about it in a minute. The haze and smoke from these
Mhm.
controlled burns, which
Yeah,
they have to do now so that there's not a problem later. So,
right. The best way I can explain prescribed burns, I was explaining it to Alessia, my almost
hmm
7-year-old, and I said, you know how when you start a campfire, you can't start with just big, healthy pieces of wood. You need to
right.
start with the small, dead, dry stuff.
hmm
Well, throughout the years, these trees lose their leaves, and all that turns into almost kindle. So those
Yeah.
prescribed burns where they're done, what they do is just a small fire that kind of kills off some of that kindle. So that way when we start
hmm
moving into those stormier seasons and we get that lightning, it doesn't take, if we don't get rid of that Kindle,
Right.
how quickly we'll be able to
hmm
start a fire and potentially cause an out of control fire. So these prescribed burns, although people are thinking like, why are you setting,
hmm
fires up?
Because they
It's
can't go out and
healthy.
bag all of that up the way that we do in the suburbs.
Exactly, exactly. So
Right.
it's actually beneficial. Forests do need fires every once in a while. I know it's kind of counterintuitive, but like you said, there's a science to everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm.
All right. Well, we'll try to keep it cool. Thank you,
Yes,
Candace.
you're
See you
welcome.
soon.
Bye.
Bye. Trooper Steve is out in results one this morning. How's it going?
It's going good. You guys are making me laugh. I'm getting educated. I'm reminiscing from my days in field day. Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
was a
What was your
really good weather
favorite?
discussion. Um, so my earliest memory I could remember, I went to Central Avenue Elementary School in the city of Kissimmee, and I'll never forget because they used to contract a city bulldozer to come out, and
Oh,
they'd put a big hole in the ground, and we would do a tug of war in the mud.
oh,
So
wow.
like fourth and fifth grade, those were the ones that allowed to do that. And
Oh,
whoever
I bet that
lost,
got
you ended
dirty.
up in the mud. Oh, I remember that. I remember laughing. Such a good time. I love the fact that your girls are going through that right now. Like, how cool is that? But it also makes
Yeah.
us feel old.
Yes. And then there's a
But I'd
part
go out
there's
there and play.
that old part of me though. I'm like glad I don't have to be out in the heat, Like it would be
a hundred
like she
percent.
said, the ideal would be sort of like maybe mid 70s, not too much direct sun,
That's
for
how you
field day.
know we've got some experience in our
Mhm.
lives when we're saying 70 degrees,
Mhm.
please.
Mhm. For field day, like,
For field day, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
How's it going
So things are pretty.
today with the
Not too
traffic?
bad. Roadways are doing better than they were earlier. This morning was a pretty good traffic morning, and then right before we ended, we did have a crash come out on I-4. So DOT cam right now showing westbound and eastbound lanes of I-4 looking good. Now the lanes closest to you are your entrance and exits up to Kirkman. Things are clear there. We were seeing the delay westbound I-4 as you began to approach the I-4, excuse me, westbound I-4 before you approach the Kirkman area, and you can see that delay right there. That delay is kind of unfortunately stuck there this morning after that crash. No lanes blocked anymore, But I do have a interesting crash taking place up in Seminole County right now. So they are saying, and I've kind of matched it up also with FHP's website, 427, County Road 427, also known as Ronald Reagan Boulevard, southbound, is currently closed between 417 and Bedford. This is a very busy residential area, so please be careful. They have a detour set up, but add a few extra minutes because this could take you some time. I-4 drive times, pretty good this morning. Again, average in both directions, sitting in about the yellow, about a 23-minute average drive time, east and westbound. Coastal, we don't get to come out to you guys often. DOT cam out there looking pretty good along I-95, right at the 183, which puts you at O'Galley. There was an earlier crash there. They cleared that out real quick for us this morning. So like Candace is mentioning, it's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be hot. If you're headed out to the beach, lucky you. It's going to be a great morning for it. Roadways are looking pretty clear. Brevard, US 1, through Rockledge and Cocoa. Maybe if you're headed up to Titusville, good morning to you. We have a whole bunch of viewers, Bridgett, out there in Titusville. Nice and clear there. And out by the airport, also checking out good. Now, today on patrol, I'm headed to a fairly busy area. A lot of people out here want to blame the roadway. This roadway went under complete renovation, and I've been out there many of times. If you travel I-4 and 436 in Altamont, you know what I'm talking about. However, it's the drivers that contribute to this. I can already tell you what I'm going to see. You're going to see people failing to yield. You're going to see people stacking up in the intersection. So we're going to head out there this morning at 8:30,
Okay.
watch it, observe it, and maybe talk a little smack along the way. But my goal with this is to bring some just simple awareness, because the diverging diamonds are here to stay.
Ooh.
You've got one in your neck of the woods. I've got one in my neck of the woods. It fixed the problem in Champions Gate. So people just need to get used to it. When I say
Yes.
people, drivers. They just have to get used to it. And the simple thing I'm telling Bridgett is obey the simple traffic laws, the simple ones, and it will help eliminate the other problems out on the roadway in that area. It's
Yeah.
easier said than done.
Yeah, and just you have to be prepared to take your time and just learn as you go, because every time I go through the one now at Sand Lake and I-4, I'm learning something different. So there's a
Yep.
learning curve, and you don't need to be in a rush,
No, that's the big thing. I'm so glad you said that, because
because
too many
that's
people
how
are going
someone
through
lost
these
their
areas.
life.
Yep, lost their life because they weren't. I don't want to assume what they were thinking, but you go through
Went
these
the wrong
areas
way.
and you're just not overly focused on the road at that time, and we're thinking about our destination, and we don't need that. If you're entering these heavy construction zones, we just want you to focus only on what's happening there, and then afterwards get through it. Heck, your children even said, "Mom, what's going on out here?"
Yeah, I had
And
to
it's just
explain they're
crazy.
building those overpasses, and it's just going to be messy for a while, but they've got to build these extra, bridges and everything to help this not be so bad. So just be
Well,
patient.
we'll see how it goes. And yeah, and that will be
Okay.
streaming today at 8:30 at
Good deal.
clickorlando.com and News 6 Plus.
Good deal. All right. Well, thanks, Trooper Steve. We'll see you soon.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Bye.
Drive safe. Okay, so like we mentioned, the haze and smoke across Central Florida. Ezzy Castro is breaking down a little bit more about why, this is, irritating some who have sensitive respiratory, but it is something that's necessary and has a bigger purpose for the environment right now.
If you live in Seminole County, you may have noticed smoke over the last few days. That's because a prescribed burn took place in the Black Hammock Wilderness area.
If you know that there's a prescribed burn somewhere, if you live, work, or going to be around areas that are north and west of that prescribed burn, prepare yourself. You'll probably be seeing some smoke in the next couple of days.
News 6 morning meteorologist Candace Campos explained prescribed burns are needed to help prevent wildfires by burning off fuels that naturally build up over time.
And we have a lot of prescribed burns, which is good because we do need them right before we get into that busy, stormy season of the wet season here in Central Florida.
But why are we seeing so much smoke this week? Well, another prescribed burn took place in Volusia County, which was more than 3,000 acres, and another one was reported in Brevard County in Viera near I-95.
That same ridge of high pressure, that big dome that's been situated over Central Florida for the past few days, it's keeping us hot, it's keeping us dry, but it's also basically acting like a top of a pan.
Yeah, on top of a pan. So we hope all goes well with those control burns, and it helps us in the future. So we'll keep you posted on how things are going with that. Now we want to get to our live guest this morning. We have Leslie Pittman joining us this morning. She is a registered nurse. She has over a decade of experience in practicing yoga, teaching yoga, coaching others in instruction. She's also a certified life coach. So, wellness is her specialty. And she's joining us live this morning to talk about the concept of really supporting our new moms. Good morning, Leslie. Oh, we can't hear you. I heard you earlier, so maybe just the microphone turned back on there.
Yeah, that was
There you
good
are.
morning.
Good morning. I'm so glad to have you on this morning. We met during a Women's History Month story a couple years back, and that's when I learned that you teach yoga, but you also have your background in the health field of nursing. So this is a passion for you.
It is. And it didn't start that way. I always like to say that because I think when people think of passion, they think it's something that happens overnight or that you
Mm-hmm.
have like a clear picture
Mm-hmm.
along the way. And that wasn't my story, but I'm happy now to have found what I really am passionate about. And at the end of the day, it is helping women with their health and specifically, like you said, new moms.
So how did it come to you? How did that passion grow, or how did you find that there was a flame there as you went through life?
Yeah, it was after having my own kids. So I have a 5-year-old son. He's about to be 6, and then my daughter is 4.
Mm-hmm.
She'll be 5 at the end of the year. So after having my daughter, actually, I had my own mental health, like postpartum things going
Mm-hmm.
on, and it was in that where I came back to yoga, got certified, and I wanted to share it with everybody.
Yes, I love it.
And that's around the time I think that we met. Yeah.
Yes. And I think as time goes by, we're learning more about postnatal care and just
Mhm.
how much mom really needs. We focus so much on the baby, and of course, you have this new person and you feel so responsible and so passionate for this new baby, but
Yeah.
the mom really needs so much, and we underestimate how many new moms really need that
Yeah.
support. They need support around them, and just to know that everything's going to be okay. But it is normal to have these waves that
Yeah.
come along during that journey. So how did you come up with something to help other moms through all that?
Yeah. Yeah, so I after feeling really alone, which I realize a lot of women once they have a kid, you feel isolated.
Hmm.
I felt the same and I there was things I did along the way like come back to my yoga practice and get therapy, get my own coaching, all of those things. And once I had all those tools, I was like, I want to share this in a handheld way. So I did make a card deck here called "You Just Had a Baby." And I don't know if you can
Those
see
are
it,
so
but
adorable.
there it is.
And so
Yeah,
what's
so
in
it's a
there?
self. Hmm?
What's in there? What's in that deck?
Yeah, yeah. So it's a card deck. It has over 30 actionable items that a new mom can do every single day without leaving their house. The one that I pulled right here is plan a self care date, a mini self care date. So if you're like, I don't know what to
Hmm.
do, I give you examples.
Oh, I
One of the
love
ones I
it.
put there is can take a free library class or, something. This one you do have to leave the house, but
Hmm.
it's just like practical actionable items because I know when I first became a mom I was very
Hmm.
overwhelmed and I was also like I have to do all of the things
Oh,
and
yes.
that's not possible. So I wanted to create something where you just take a card once a day and that's what you focus on. So this one here is a gentle stretch and it tells you engage in a simple yoga stretch to relieve tension, focus on your breath while stretching to rejuvenate both body and mind. And then this one, you do not have to leave the house. And you would scan this QR code, and it takes you to my YouTube channel where I have yoga, meditation, all of that for you.
Hmm. And so it's sort of, a mindfulness practice. It just kind of gets you unstuck. So is it something you would say would be like a good gift or something that,
Yeah.
you could give? It's,
Yes.
you give it to other moms and just sort of like, I know you're probably feeling sometimes like overwhelmed or just, stuck in the mud. What this can help you just in the moment to kind of snap out of it maybe.
100%. So like Mother's Day is coming up. So like I like to say it's the perfect Mother's Day gift. So if you know somebody that is maybe like, oh, I am I'm pregnant and they're a first time mom, or maybe they're not a first time
Mhm.
mom, but maybe, either way, this is a great gift to give them, because I feel like a lot of the time when you hear somebody that's pregnant, or even if you are pregnant,
Mhm.
you are so focused on well, let me get the diapers and like the formula or the bottles, like you're so focused on the baby. And that's why this, when the card deck, you just had a baby, really emphasizing you, like you
Yes.
baby, like it's like a play on words. So just making moms know that they need to take care of themselves first, because if you don't take
Mhm.
care of you first, you will not take care of your baby well. Like you
Mhm.
just won't. Like that's,
And
sometimes
and
I'd be a little too harsh with that, but it's true.
yeah. And you have the background in nursing as well. When you look at postpartum depression
Yeah.
and what's happening with a woman's body physically, chemically, explain to people like why it's normal to like struggle after
Yeah.
you go through the process of pregnancy, delivery, and postpartum.
Mhm. There are so many hormones that go throughout your body, especially right after you give birth. Like, yes, like some of those hormones do like get out once you give birth to the baby, but a lot of those hormones still stay in your body. I read something
Mhm.
recently that said it can take up to 2 years after you have a
Yes, I saw
child
that and that is
to
so
come back.
affirming.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yes,
okay,
I felt the
now that
same,
makes
because I was like,
sense.
yeah, because now I'm feeling more like myself again. Like I shared with you, all my kids are 4 and 5, and now I'm like, okay, I'm back,
Yes,
and
not to mention you went through all that during a pandemic, which didn't help.
and that's why, exactly, that's why I mentioned too that a lot of these cards you can do without leaving the house, because a lot of us had kids
Sometimes you're just
during
not
the
ready.
pandemic. And we couldn't leave, so that was like the inspiration behind this deck, was like giving you some type of oasis,
Mhm.
but still having this, because also when you're a new mom too, it can be hard to ask for help, right?
Yes,
So
and
like there is a
accept it.
card.
Accept the offer as well.
Yeah, because we do a lot of, I would put the assumption out there. Most of us have people that want to
Mhm.
help us. Like, I'm
Mhm.
going to put it out there for everybody. We have people in our lives that want to help us, that want to give us love. But
Mhm.
like you said, Bridget, it's about accepting it and not wearing that like superwoman cape.
Mhm.
Like, I can
Mhm.
do it all. Because
Mhm.
there's this big misconception when you become a mom that you have to do it all, but that's not true. Like
Mhm.
you're not supposed to do it all. You're
Yeah.
supposed to have the village, the
Yes.
community, the support.
One thing that dawned on me with the responsibility of parenthood is that we think we're, guiding these little people, these little souls through the world, but then we also are learning as a result of, them joining the family because it does force you outside yourself to, like you said, build a village. It does force you to look inside yourself to like, okay, well, I need to work on some things here. So it's like, what are they coming to teach us as well?
Yeah, that I recently these past couple days, I'm not gonna lie, I've realized if I didn't have my two kids, as corny as it sounds, one, I wouldn't have started a business.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't, be on TV here. And also my communication has gotten way better because I have to communicate for them. Like, because they're still so young. Like, yes, they can both talk now, but there's just conversations I've had to have and things like that, where I'm
Mhm.
like, if I didn't have my kids, I probably wouldn't be working on my communication at this
Mhm.
time.
Mhm. And you have these cards that give us good ideas to take care of ourselves, treat ourselves, and remember to be kind to ourselves. So, what are some
Yeah.
of the other resources around town that you really highly recommend? Of course, you love yoga.
Yeah.
There's prenatal yoga. So, what are
Mhm.
some of the other activities that you really like to recommend to new parents, new moms to just kind of try to get themselves out more and socialize.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, socialize, right? And I would say take advantage of social media. It's free. There are plenty of like Facebook groups, like mom Facebook groups. One Facebook group that I joined when I first became a mom was Black Moms of Orlando. That was like the first thing that opened me up where because
Mm-hmm.
I needed help. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I was struggling, so Black Moms of Orlando was a resource that I took advantage of because it was
Mm-hmm.
free. I'm trying to think what else. Obviously, like you said,
Yeah.
yoga. Um,
I really like
there's
some of the things at the library. Like I know one of your cards recommended the
yes,
library. So
thank
there's
you.
things you can go do by yourself at the library, but there are great programs at the library too where you can bring your
Yes.
children and it's fun to meet other parents and other kids too.
So many, yeah, there's so many great things, especially through Orange County library systems. Like you said, there's like mommy and me type of classes. There's
Mhm.
classes you can do by yourself, like sewing classes. I know the
Mhm.
one down the road, they do a lot of that, like sewing.
And the summer's
Oh, there's
coming
like,
up. The YMCA has some of
yeah,
those like mommy and
yes,
me or daddy
yes,
and me swimming classes and things like that too.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
water classes. I wouldn't say that baby's not maybe sometimes ready to swim, but you at least get them in there and familiarize them. So that's fun too. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great idea. I'm so glad you came up with this, and I can't wait to see what's next as you get out more with these resources and just helping support moms because it is needed. So I'm glad that you were able to kind of put this in a box, literally, for
Yeah.
other moms and those who support and love them.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, and that's what it is. Thank you, Bridget.
Thank you. So, Leslie Pittman, you can check her out on Instagram and follow along with You Just Had a Baby card. So, thanks for being with us. Hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Have a good one. So, we are out of time right now, but we'll be back with more breakfast tomorrow at 7:30 for a Finally Friday episode. And I'll see you at noon on News 6 and WKMG with more weather and news updates. We'll see you then at noon. Meantime, Weatherwise with Jonathan Kekis is up next, followed by Trooper Steve on patrol. Have a good one.